In this video, I want to cover the basics of hotel websites with you. If you already have a bunch of experience with websites, then I really recommend you go check out some of our other content where we deep dive into these topics. Here, we're really going to start with the basics. Hello and welcome to another Hotel Techie video. I'm Alicia from Hotel Spider. We've covered quite some topics around hotel websites in the past and produced live streams, videos, and also blog content. I will link to all of that down below in the description, but also up above when it becomes relevant. In this video, we're going back to the basics. It's jam-packed with practical and specific tips for you. Now let's jump into the topic. Your website is really the core of your hotel's online presence, and it's one of the few platforms that you control fully and where you can tell your story without any limits. So your website is really not a project that you do every couple of years. It has to be an ongoing process and something you work on constantly over time to improve it. So you should really have a line item in your budget for your website every single year. So no matter if you're starting a new hotel website project or if you're trying to improve your existing site, the following points apply equally. You have to be clear on who you want to reach you with your website. Are you trying to reach people looking for hotels in your area? Is the website for your existing guests? Or maybe are you talking to day visitors to your restaurant, spa, or other amenities? A website can be for different audiences, but you have to be very deliberate about it and guide them in the right direction. If you try to cater to all, you're not going to reach anyone because you're not communicating clearly. Now that you know who your audience is and who you create the website for, you have to create specific and measurable goals for the website. For the purpose of this video, the goal of the website is to convert visitors into paying guests, or in other words, to create direct bookings. Let's do a quick ad break. This video is powered by Hotel Spider, an all-in-one hotel distribution platform, making it easy for hotels to sell their rooms online. With a channel manager, you have one central place to control your availabilities and price them and change them quickly and easily on all connected platforms. Your guests can book your rooms in a few clicks on our elegant and mobile-first booking engine, driving more direct bookings for you. But you can also drive more traffic to your pages using Google, Tripadvisor, and Trivago through the direct integrations to these meta platforms. If you're looking for more business from corporate travel manager or tour operators, you can do so through the easy GDS connection. All of that you can control in one single place on the Hotel Spider platform that also offers you insights through the analytics dashboards. Now back to the video. Now that we have the audience and the goal, we can start looking into the actual user experience we want visitors to have on your website. Start on a high level with a global sitemap where you're just looking into what are the pages I want to have, what's the structure and how are they linked to each other. The design of the pages, in my opinion, at this point should be secondary. You should really focus on the user experience and how you can get visitors to become paying guests. Looks have their place and are important, but often they get overvalued and too much emphasis is put on how the pages look. Especially personal preferences should not influence the user experience too much. An easy to use and intuitive navigation, but also fast loading speeds of your pages is critical for your user experience. I recommend that you focus on the mobile version first. Most of your visitors will see your mobile version way before they ever get to the desktop version of your website. Independent on what version you are on, it's crucial to have your calls to action, so book now or contact the hotel, very clear and dominant and always visible for the guest. Once the general structure and flow of the site has been defined, now we have to go into the details and look at the specific content for each page. I find it very helpful here to work visually and work with blocks because also most content management systems are somehow based on different block elements. But a little bit more about that in a moment. Content is king. So make sure that you prioritize good and interesting content on all your pages. Text content that is easy to read and understand is a must here. With longer text, I really recommend splitting it up, starting with a couple of bullet points on top with the most important information, and then going into a longer text for anybody that needs more detail. Images and videos are much better at transferring emotions, but also showing the guest what they might experience or feel at your hotel. Make sure that you work with high quality, up-to-date images, work with professionals, and try to stay consistent with the images across your different pages. The general recommendation is not to use people in your images in private areas like the bathroom or the bedroom, but you can use people in public spaces. A restaurant where people are laughing and enjoying their dinner is much more interesting than an empty one. Use social proof. You can use reviews and scores that you get online, even if you curate them and only display specific ones that you want to show your guests. But you can also go directly to your guests and have a conversation with them or get insights and statements from them and use that. In any scenario, use social proof. It's very powerful. Knowing that somebody like me stayed at your property and enjoyed himself is really a powerful tool to convince me to also book with you. Ensure that anybody that wants to read your website's content and it is interested in you can do so. So keep in mind the different languages your guests speak, but also think about machine readability. Comply with all accessibility standards to really make sure that anybody that is interested in your content has a way to understand it. This is also a best practice for SEO or search engine optimization. SEO, as so many times in the past, again with artificial intelligence, is supposed to be dead soon. I personally don't believe so, but I also don't think it's that relevant in the end of the day. If you keep to the core principles of SEO and make sure you keep up with the tech, you'll be fine. In your content and text, pay attention and be mindful of the keywords that are being used. Make sure that the content and the keywords within that content reflect and are aligned with what your audience is looking for and what's relevant for them. Make sure the content is easy to understand for bots. Today, that's mostly done by ensuring the correct structure, but also working with meta text in non-text content. The technology might change, but that core principle stays the same. Make it easy for anybody to understand. We've arrived at the really good part. Let's talk about the tech. I'm gonna try to make this as easy and concise as possible. Here is what you really need to know. First, hosting. Your website, all the content, text, video, images, all of that is sitting on a server in the internet. This server where your website is sitting is called the hosting. Make sure that you know where your website is hosted and also make sure that you have final control over it, not your agency or your webmaster. Second, your domain. Hotelspider.com is ours. Yours might be hotelxyz.ch or something in that direction. It's the address anybody uses that wants to find your server by putting it into their browser. It's your address in the internet, so make 100% sure that you own it. If you don't have it, but it's sitting with your web agency or with your webmaster, make sure that you get control over that. It's the address where people find you with. If you lose it, nobody will find you anymore. 3, CMS or content management system. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a system that manages your content for your website, your text, your images, and all of that. When building a new page, keep sure that you consider what part of the content you want to manage dynamically, so images or text you want to change often, and what can stay static and you don't really need to touch and don't really need to have access to. That's really critical when building any new page. Keep that in mind. There's a lot of different CMS systems out there. For our purposes here and for the context of hotel website, I will put them in 3 different categories. Open source. WordPress, Magenta, Joomla, these are all open source content management system that allows anybody to access the source code and work with it and develop it. That means that there is a lot of competent developers out there that can work with these tools, but it also means that you have a lot of ready to use simple plugins that you can just add on to your website. This said, there's also a disadvantage that it takes some investment and time to actually customize the pages to what you want to have. Proprietary. Squarespace or Wix are some of the examples of proprietary content management system. This really means that you're working within their platform and in their system. They offer all the integrations and tools that you can use, and you have no options to add on to it. So whenever there's a functionality or something you would like to do that they don't offer, you have to compromise. On the other hand, the tools are really easy to use and flexible, and you need basically no maintenance. Hotel proprietary. These are just like the proprietary systems we just discussed, before, so you're locked into their system, but specifically developed for hotels. For example, Book Assist or Little Hoteliers. These systems can be very interesting because you have very little setup time and maintenance to do, but there is also no flexibility. You have to take what they're offering and then it's really simple to work with. What exactly the best solution is for your hotel, as so often, depends. You really have to look into the different options when you evaluate any new website project. The hotel-specific tech we haven't actually mentioned yet. Of course, I'm talking about the hotel booking engine. In the end, the goal of our site is to convert visitors into paying guests, and we do so in the booking engine. So it's really critical that it's easy for our guests to do. When it comes to driving more direct bookings, I think there's a couple of general points that we have to pay attention to when it comes to the booking engine. Make sure you define but also communicate very clearly what the direct booker advantages are for your guests. I would really have a dedicated page to this and put all of these points on there with all the details. But then also sprinkle the information all over your website, have text but also images to remind guests of it. Pop-ups can be one really nice way to draw attention to these direct booker advantages and again link back to the main page. Have a very clear and dominant book now call to action always visible on your page. I recommend to just have it scroll with the visitor so it's always there when they need it. Make it as easy and simple as possible for your visitors to take the next step in the sales process. A well-done integration between the booking engine and the website is really key here. If you're working with a custom booking engine, there's really no limits to what you can do when it comes to integrating the two elements. But also with an out-of-the-box solution, there's really a lot that you can achieve with a little bit of work and creativity. There is an easy way to get a smooth integration and a seamless experience for your guest. Make sure that you always bring the guest to the most relevant pages in the booking engine, to the right room, rate, package, dates, etc. that he's already pre-selected or that he was looking at on your pages. Don't make him go a step back in the process. Also work with widgets that lets him pre-select different details on different sites and make sure that you keep him on the same page. Don't send him to another page. He might get lost there and not come back. You're asking your guests to trust you and to make a purchase on your site. So make sure that you're compliant with any industry or legal requirements, including credit card security standards, and make sure that you communicate that to your visitor. Analytics, data, 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 data. Make sure that you collect data, that you can understand what your visitors are doing on your website, what's working and what might not be working. So get an analytics tool integrated on your website, make sure that you have control and access to it, and then spend some time with that data regularly and use it to evolve your website. Only what you measure can you manage. That's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you and I'll see you in the next one.